So hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I will be talking about mental health awareness. Because next week is Mental Health Awareness Week, that's why I'm releasing this video today to share with you some tips and tricks on how to get through this quarantine period. So as you know from our current situation, all of us are in quarantine right now, and because we're in quarantine, we are spending more time at home and we are also working at home. But with more time at home, we also have more time on our cell phones, and with that we will spend more time on social media as well. And as much as I would like to agree that social media can sometimes be a good tool for us to get entertained or it brings us joy, but I would say that there is actually detrimental effects to our mental health as well if it is not handled properly. And with more time on social media, we start to see really nice images or content from people, and because of that we start to compare ourselves with people, and when that happens our anxiety will start to kick in when we start to compare ourselves with the perfect pictures that we see online. So today I'll be coming out with some tips and tricks for you to follow through. For the people who work from home, the lines between work and home is blurred, and it can get hard for you to differentiate between when is it time to rest and when is it time to start working. It can affect our body clock as well if we are unable to differentiate between the two of them. So these are some of the tips that you can try to adopt. So firstly, every morning when I wake up, I will open up my windows to let all the fresh air in, and I will also light up an incense fragrance stick to refresh my mind, and after that I will go for a shower. After I'm back from my shower, I'll take a wet towel and I'll just clean my table to start off my day. And I can also make small changes in my life, such as wearing my watch in the morning when I'm about to start my work, and also taking it off after I've ended my work. And it is these small subtle changes that you make to your life that you enable your subconscious to able to differentiate between work and home as well. What I would suggest is to have a definite and significant change to your work attire and your practice and your behavior throughout the day. And even though I'm working from home, I make sure that I have a work attire ready for me to wear after I shower, and it can be something as simple as a t-shirt and just a shorts itself. But in the day before I go to sleep, I'll change to my pajamas, and my pajamas can be like a singlet or also any comfortable shorts that I would like to wear to my sleep. So I can have these two distinct change in terms of my attire. And even though it's something small, but these are just small signals once again to give to your brain, to tell your brain that okay, it is time to switch the mode between rest and play. In the middle of the day, sometimes I can get quite caught up with social media, I will have to admit as well. So what I would do is I will put my phone under my pillow, and this is a small trick that I do. I realize that when my phone is out of my sight, I don't really scroll through social media like Instagram or Facebook. And as much as I would say that WhatsApp is still important in our life because we need WhatsApp or Telegram to connect with our work colleagues, but you can actually set up WhatsApp desktop on your computer itself. So even when you don't have your phone next to you, you are still able to reply to your colleagues via your desktop and your laptop as well. Perhaps you can really try to put your phone under your pillow just to see how it feels to have your phone away from you and how it actually changes your behavior towards using social media itself. In the middle of the day when I have time, I would actually do yoga and meditate after that. I started meditating when I was pretty young in my teenage years, but when I started doing it, I didn't know the right techniques to doing it, and I realized that it didn't really help me in my mental health because I started off wrongly, using the wrong techniques, and I didn't know what to focus on when I meditate. So I gave up back then during my teenage years, and after that I went to Bali and I went for a yoga class, and that was when I realized how I'm able to use meditation to help me to reduce stress and help me with my life as well. So what I would do is I will get a yoga mat and I will start to do 5 to 10 minutes of yoga, and right after that I will transit to my meditation. I would have a yoga block with me, and what is so good about a yoga block is it is able to improve your sitting posture. So when you are meditating, you tend to sit for 20 minutes or 30 minutes and it can be quite long, and it can be quite straining to your back as well. So you want a yoga block to help you to improve your sitting posture. So meditation is really about a habitual process of redirecting your thoughts and also training your mind to focus, and many people use it as a way to reduce stress and reduce anxiety in their life. When I start to meditate, I will just find a comfortable spot, and it's usually in my room, and I will want as much natural light as possible. So I will switch off all the artificial light, and I will get my yoga mat ready, I will get my yoga block ready. I will just sit down in a comfortable spot. I will take a few big breaths, and I will have a soft focus in my line of sight. And after I take a few deep breaths, I'm more familiar with my surrounding. I will close my eyes and I will continue with my breathing, but this time it's a normal rhythm. And as I start to breathe, I start to acknowledge my body, my sitting posture, and the sounds around me, and I connect with the environment around me as well. With my eyes closed, I will start to focus on my breathing. So for some people, they can start to count on their breathing. So when you breathe in, you count 1, and when you breathe out, you count 2. What I realize about many people during meditation is that they don't know what to think about, and there are many thoughts that will come to their mind when they meditate. And even for me, there are a lot of thoughts that tend to come to my mind when I meditate. What I want you to do is to think your mind as a clear blue sky, and all the thoughts that comes through your mind are just like passing clouds. We want to be as clear as possible, and it is perfectly normal and perfectly fine if there are thoughts that come through your mind. This is the part of the process of meditation. What we really want to do is to train our mind to identify when the thoughts come to our mind and when to acknowledge it and let it go, and continue with our breathing as well. I would recommend that when you meditate, you think about a place of peace and scenery. So for myself, I usually picture this beautiful river that I've seen in New Zealand. So when I meditate, I'll just imagine the sounds and the river flowing, the water is fluid, and all the imagination that is going through in my mind, I just use it to direct on my focus on my breathing as well. So one thing about meditation is that you want to adopt this technique called noting. Sometimes when we meditate, we have many thoughts that come to our mind, and it can be thinking about a certain meeting that is going to come up at 4 p.m. later, or it can be a event that have happened in the past, and this event can evoke some emotions in you, and these emotions can be sadness or anxiety. You have to differentiate between the two thoughts. One of them is thinking and one of them is feeling. So when you meditate, it is good to acknowledge whether this thought is thinking or feeling. When we acknowledge it, we gently just let it go, and over time, when you start to do it more and more often, you are able to control your thoughts as well. The art of meditation is really about to be present in the moment and not to think about the future or not to think about the past, because we want to be self-aware. We want to be aware with ourselves and our body. I would like to highlight again that it is perfectly normal for thoughts to come up to your mind, and when we catch ourselves having thoughts and drifted away from our meditation, we try not to be too harsh on ourselves. We want to be as gentle with ourselves as possible. So when these thoughts come to our mind and we catch ourselves doing that, we want to acknowledge it gently. So you can just imagine it as like a feather touching an orb, and once the feather has touched the orb, we let it go gently. We don't want to catch ourselves or be too harsh on ourselves of drifting apart. There's an app that I use during my meditation, and it's called Headspace, and I highly recommend it to people who are starting to meditate. Within Headspace itself is actually a guided meditation. During my meditation, I tend to get drifted apart and I tend to have thoughts running through my mind. So with this guided meditation, there will be a voiceover that brings you back to breathing and also give you some tips about how you can handle your emotions better. And there are different categories for different part of the meditation. For example, you can choose different sections for to start your day, or different sections to handle sadness or anxiety, and sections to handle on work. And there is also a section on meditation for you to use before you sleep as well. So there's a wide variety of sections for you to choose. In the app itself, there is a free trial for 14 days. I actually tried the free trial for 14 days and I really like it a lot. That's why I signed up for the paid membership. This is not sponsored at all. This is based on what I've been using, and I find it really helpful, and I really want to share it with you guys. Because I have so much time at home, I find myself reading a lot of books during this quarantine period, and I would like to recommend to you some of the books that I'm reading. So first up, this is a book by Dalai Lama. It's called The Art of Happiness, and basically in the book itself, he's sharing his ideas about compassion for people around the world. And during this period, we all want to exercise more empathy between our relationships with people. And in this book itself, he mentioned about having compassion not only for the people around you, but also compassion for yourself. Sometimes we don't want to be too harsh on ourselves, we don't want to be too hard on ourselves for not doing anything at home. And I would actually admit that there are some times when I didn't know what to do at home, I didn't know what the future is gonna be, but this book is able to give me some insights on how I can start to adjust my lifestyle and have more compassion for the people around me. Another book that I'm reading right now is called The Magic. It is a sister book by The Secret, and basically in Magic itself is saying about gratitude, being thankful for everything that you have in life. From this book, I learned to be thankful for everything that I have. For example, I'm thankful that I have access to clean water. I'm thankful that I have shelter over my head. I'm thankful that I have an audience that I can reach out to, and I'm thankful for every single thing in my life. Especially during these dark times, we are seeing a lot of negativity on the social media. In this moment, it is so important to be thankful for everything in our life. Another book that I read is called The Life-Changing Magic of Tithing by Marie Kondo. I would say that this book have really helped me tremendously in changing my life. If you have seen my social media, you have realized that I renovated my room. I kind of changed the entire setup of my room, and I was inspired after I started reading this book. Marie Kondo encouraged me to tidy up my space and also to give respect for the things around me. And she also taught me about discarding all the unwanted items in my life, such as the clothing. In the book itself, she also linked unwanted items such as unwanted clothing or unwanted items in your life to unwanted people in your life. Sometimes there might be toxic people or toxic friends in your life that you sometimes have to let go. And even though you can have a good time hanging out with these friends, they might not be beneficial to your work life or your social life or your mental health. It is so important to reevaluate what these people do in your life, and if they really do not benefit you at all in the long term, maybe it's good to distance yourself away from them and also to cut them off from your life itself. In the book itself, she also taught me how to declutter my clothing. So you can see from my wardrobe over here, I actually tried to rearrange how my wardrobe looks. So this is the before. It looks super messy and it has a lot of clothing that I don't wear anymore, and it just looks really disorganized in general. And after I changed my wardrobe, I got a fixed set of hangers for my wardrobe, and I wanted them in black, and also I color coordinated my clothing. And sometimes it's really these small changes that you make to your life that you realize that when your life is more simplified, you are able to find greater joy in life. I color coordinated my clothes such that I place all the whites on the left and I place all the blacks on the far right, and in between is actually the rainbow. So you can see red, and because I don't have orange, the next one is yellow, and I have green and blue and grey, and then to black. The reason why the white is all the way to the left is because when you open your wardrobe, we tend to scan items from the left to the right first. So when you start your day in the morning, you want to see something bright and clean. So I started with white. Another book that I just finished reading is called The Joy at Work by Marie Kondo as well, and I find it really beneficial because in the book itself, she taught us about how to clear and declutter your digital life. And it can be as simple as clearing up your desktop space. In my desk screen itself, it used to be very messy and disorganized, and there are files and documents all over the place, and some of them are unnecessary. So this book taught me to clean up my digital space because I look at my laptop every day. It's good for you to have a clean space for you to be productive. I actually deleted and discarded all my documents and files that I do not need anymore, and all the images that I do not need anymore. I'll put the titles of the books in the description below so you can go and check them out. Besides doing meditation and reading books to take care of my mental health, I also want to take care of my body because the mind and body is connected together. So when you take care of your mind, you want to be sure to take care of your body as well. This includes the food that we eat, and during this time we are taking in a lot of junk food. I would admit that there are certain days where I would just binge on potato chips and a lot of sweets and chocolates, but I also make sure that I want to detox and cleanse my body. So I have this green juice recipe that I've been posting on my social media, and I would like to share them with you. I'll leave the recipe below in the description so you can follow through when you have time at home. So these are the ingredients that I add to my green juice. Firstly, I use wild rocket. It can be wild rocket or spinach. I also use lemon with rind. I make sure that I include the lemon peel inside the blender and I remove the seeds. A scoop of moringa powder, a scoop of chia seeds, a dash of turmeric powder, a bit of rock salt, a sachet of vitamin C from Green Science, 100 ml of milk, 200 ml of water, 3 ice cubes, and there you have it, a green juice for you to detox and cleanse your body. Besides drinking green juice, I also take some supplements, and right now I'm taking some liver supplements from Swiss. I also take this supplement which is a gift from my friend Larry. It's called ashwagandha and I feature it in my social media. It is from Green Science and this is called BioMal. It is a supplement that is supposed to help you reduce stress and anxiety. I highly recommend that you can go and Google the benefits of ashwagandha. There are different types of it, but right now I'm taking BioMal from Green Science. This is also a gift from Larry. It's vitamin C. It's called Apple C+, and it is basically vitamin C in a powder form. And within it, I've been taking it and adding it to my green juice, and it's supposed to help you boost your immunity and your body's natural defense against viruses and cold. I want to highlight to you that meditation and happiness is never a destination. It is always a journey. If you refuse to help yourself, you are unable to pick yourself up. And I hope that this video is able to share with you some ideas on how you can get through this. And I would like to tell you that we are all in this together. I would like to mention that there are times where I honestly don't know what is going on during this pandemic because there's just so much going on, and I read the news daily and sometimes the news can be quite depressing as well, especially for Singapore when the cases are pretty high. I would have to admit that there are certain days where I feel emotional when my friends tell me about the loss of job opportunities or the loss of income, and it can get to my mental health as well. And there are times where I feel extremely vulnerable and I will get really emotional, and I wouldn't deny that there are some days that I would just cry, but it is good to be emotional and it is good to be vulnerable during this time because you acknowledge your emotions, and when you acknowledge it, you don't suppress it, you don't hide it, but you just let it go. And once you let it go, you realize how much lighter you have become. And I would like to tell you that it is perfectly fine to have no idea what is going on, and we do not want to judge anybody during this point in time. It is perfectly fine if you are productive, and it is also perfectly fine if you are not productive at all, because we are going through a pandemic. So it is normal for you to not know what to do in this point of time. To recap, in this video I mentioned how you can make some changes to your lifestyle to differentiate between work and play, and I also recommend that you can try out yoga and meditation. I also recommend that you can try to declutter your space and digital space for you to focus better in work. I recommended some books for you to read. I share with you my green juice recipe for you to try out. I'm going to release a website. It contains short stories of people all around the world going through this quarantine period right now, and the advice that they have for people going through these dark times. It also includes photography and illustrations from my friends. So I put the link of the website below in the description. It's called rarecray.com, and within it contains all the short stories and photos and illustrations that you can see as well. If you would like to contribute to this space, you can also email me. I have put my email below in the description below, so you can email me any ideas that you have, any short stories that you want to share, or any artworks that you would like to share on the space itself. I'm more than happy to accept it, and I'll include it in the website. Thank you for watching, and do remember to like this video. Do comment on some of the things that you are doing right now to get through this period. Do remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel at Rarecray, and thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.